This video is about she was just a janitor until a wealthy investor made him a director. If this story inspires you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. Asterisk, she was just a janitor until a wealthy investor made him a director. Part 1 asterisk. In the heart of Riverton, a bustling city where dreams clashed with reality, stood the towering glass building of Elysium Enterprises. For most, the polished exterior and gleaming interiors were symbols of success, but for Maria Lopez, they represented a different kind of struggle. Maria was known as the janitor who, with her mop in hand and a heart full of hope, danced her way through the halls of Elysium every night. At 52, she was a woman of resilience, having faced life's storms with a strength that often went unnoticed. She worked the night shift, quietly cleaning the remnants of a busy day, while the world outside moved at a frenetic pace. Each evening, she'd arrive before dusk, her worn sneakers tapping softly on the marble floor. After clocking in, she'd whisper a soft prayer, a habit she adopted since her childhood days in Mexico. It was a ritual that grounded her, reminding her of the perseverance her mother had instilled in her, despite their impoverished circumstances. "Good evening," Maria chirped a young intern, Thomas, as he rushed past her. Bright-eyed and ambitious, he often offered her a smile, the kind that made her heart flutter with warmth. "Evening, Thomas," she replied, her voice gentle but strong. Her hands moved methodically, wiping down desks and collecting trash. She often wondered about the lives behind the closed office doors, the dreams chasing those who worked within. Maria had always dreamed of more. Years ago, she had aspired to be a nurse, but life had drawn her down a different path. After migrating to the United States in search of a better life, she found herself juggling multiple jobs to support her family. The dream of higher education faded like an old photograph left too long in the sun. "Hey, Maria," came a voice, pulling her from her thoughts. It was Linda, the office manager, with her usual brisk demeanor. "Can you get to the conference room? I think someone spilled coffee everywhere." "Of course," Maria said, donning her invisible armor. She always tackled challenges with a smile, but inside, the pressures of life weighed heavily, bills to pay, her daughter's college tuition looming, and the worry of what the future held for her family. As Maria mopped up the coffee spill, she reflected on the sacrifices she made for her daughter, Anna, who was now a determined college student. Anna had inherited her mother's resilience, a beacon of hope shining brightly. Maria often reminded her, "Believe in yourself, Major. You can achieve anything you set your mind to." Anna's dream was to become an engineer, and despite the financial difficulties, Maria did everything possible to support her. She worked tirelessly, often coming home exhausted, but never failing to ask Anna about her day. The small apartment was a canvas painted with Anna's sketches and dreams, a stark contrast to their realities. One night, while cleaning the executive floor, Maria stumbled upon a discarded proposal on one of the desks. Curiosity piqued, she picked it up and skimmed through the pages. It outlined a plan for a revolutionary app that could change the way people interacted with their finances. The passion in those words struck a chord deep within her, igniting a spark of inspiration. As the weeks passed, Maria found herself drawn to the idea of entrepreneurship. She began jotting down notes during her breaks, sketching out her own ideas. Perhaps she could create something meaningful, harnessing the skills she'd learned while working in the company, even as a janitor. "Maria, you're always so cheerful," Linda said one evening as they both paused in the break room. "What is your secret?" Maria smiled, her eyes glimmering with hope. "I just believe that every day is a new opportunity. We can choose to create light even in the darkest places." Linda nodded, though her expression suggested she was skeptical. "That is a beautiful perspective, but remember, life can be tough. Not everyone gets to where they want to go." Her words echoed in Maria's heart, stirring a familiar ache. Yes, life was challenging, but Maria had learned that kindness and perseverance often paved a path to resilience. The following month, Elysium Enterprises was buzzing with news. A wealthy investor, Mr. James Harrington, was visiting. He was renowned for his keen eye in discovering potential in overlooked people and ideas. The anticipation was palpable, and even Maria could sense the excitement in the air. On the day of Mr. Harrington's visit, the office was immaculate, sparkling under fluorescent lights. Maria worked diligently, adjusting a potted plant here, wiping down glass surfaces there. She had a sense that something monumental was about to happen, though she wasn't entirely sure what. As she finished up her shift, she overheard snippets of conversations. "He is going to transform this company. I can't wait to see what he brings." The energy in the building was electric, and Maria, despite being just the janitor, felt a part of it all. After her shift, as she was about to leave, she spotted Mr. Harrington in the lobby, deep in conversation with the executives. Her heart raced at the sight of this man who was known for changing lives. Just then, he turned and caught her eye. Maria felt an inexplicable urge to speak. "Excuse me, sir," she said tentatively, her voice steady despite the nervous flutter in her chest. He looked at her, curiosity lighting up his features. "Yes? I just wanted to say that I hope you find what you were looking for here," she managed to say, her eyes sincere. "This place has potential, just like the people in it." A moment of silence hung between them, and in that instant, Maria felt her heart lay bare before him, her dreams, her hopes, her struggles. Mr. Harrington studied her, his expression contemplative, as if he could see her spirit shining through the mundane act of cleaning. "Thank you," he replied thoughtfully. "You were right, every place has potential, it is often the people who illuminate it." His words lingered long after she left the building, igniting a flame of inspiration within her. Maria wondered if this was a sign, a nudge from the universe to continue pursuing her dreams in earnest. That night, as she drifted to sleep, Maria envisioned a brighter future. She imagined creating a community outreach program to empower others like her, those working behind the scenes, often unseen but crucial to the fabric of society. Days turned to weeks, and Maria poured her heart into her ideas. She would stay up late, crafting proposals, seeking advice online, and even reaching out to local entrepreneurs. With each step, she felt herself transforming, realizing that she had within her the power to shape her destiny. One chilly evening, as she was leaving work, she spotted Mr. Harrington again, this time standing alone, looking at the skyline. Gathering her courage, she approached him. "Mr. Harrington," she began, her heart thumping in her chest. "I wanted to share an idea with you. It is about empowering underrepresented communities through entrepreneurship." He turned to her, intrigued. "Go on." Thus began a conversation that would change the course of Maria's life. As she shared her vision, Mr. Harrington listened intently. She could see the gears turning in his mind, the same spark of inspiration igniting in him as it had in her. "What you were proposing is essential," he said when she finished. "I believe in giving people a voice, an opportunity to rise. Would you be interested in collaborating on this initiative?" Maria's heart soared. "Really?" she gasped, disbelief washing over her. "Yes, and I'll help you every step of the way," he replied, his gaze steady and sincere. That moment marked the beginning of an unexpected journey, one filled with hope, collaboration, and the promise of change. In that instant, Maria's life transformed from being just a janitor to a force of inspiration, a beacon of resilience ready to light the way for others. As she walked home that night, she felt the weight of her struggles lifting. The dreams she'd once shelved were now within reach, and she was determined to cultivate that spark of hope not just for herself, but for everyone around her. To be continued. Asterisk. She was just a janitor until a wealthy investor made him a director. Part 2 asterisk. Days turned into weeks, and Maria's life began to ripple with change. After that fateful evening with Mr. Harrington, she was filled with the kind of optimism that colors the world with vibrance. The spark ignited during their conversation lingered, pushing her to work tirelessly on her outreach initiative. Maria started waking up earlier, her heart brimming with purpose. Each morning began with prayer and a determination to bring her vision to life. She envisioned gathering people from her neighborhood who felt invisible, just as she once did, and showing them that their dreams were valid and achievable. One afternoon, while mopping the floors of the executive suite, Maria overheard a group of executives discussing a new project proposal. They spoke in hushed voices, the excitement palpable. Catching snippets of their conversation, Maria's mind buzzed with ideas about how entrepreneurship could foster community growth. "Did you hear about the new tech initiative?" one of the executives remarked. "I think it could really elevate our company to new heights." "Sure, but we need fresh perspectives," another replied. "We can keep cycling through the same ideas." Maria paused, gripping her mop tighter. She realized that she was standing on the threshold of an opportunity that could serve as a catalyst for her initiative. If Elysium Enterprises could harness innovation, why couldn't they also invest in the dreams of those often overlooked? With renewed vigor, Maria approached Linda in the break room one evening. "Linda," she said, her voice steady yet filled with excitement, "I want to propose an idea, an outreach program for aspiring entrepreneurs from underrepresented communities." Linda looked up from her coffee, raising an eyebrow. "That is ambitious, Maria, but what do you know about running a program like that?" "I may not have direct experience, but I understand resilience," Maria replied earnestly. "I have seen the struggles of those around me. I want to empower them, just as I am trying to empower myself." Linda regarded her for a moment, her expression softening. I admire your spirit, but you will need backing and a solid plan. Have you thought about how you will find it? I have some ideas, Maria said, a heart racing. Mr. Harrington expressed interest in supporting community initiatives. I believe if I approach him with a solid proposal, he might consider it. Then go for it, Linda encouraged, her tone shifting from skepticism to support. But be prepared, you will need to put in the work. Encouraged by Linda's words, Maria spent the following weeks refining her proposal. She researched successful outreach programs, crafted detailed plans, and envisioned workshops that would educate and inspire participants. She reached out to local community centers, gathering insights and forming connections. One evening, after a long shift, Maria was deep in thought while scrubbing the bathroom sinks. The weight of her dreams felt heavy on her shoulders. I can do this, she whispered to herself, repeating it like a mantra. I have to believe. She felt a tap on her shoulder and turned to find Thomas standing there, a warm smile on his face. You look deep in thought, Maria. Everything okay? With a sigh, she shared her vision. To her delight, Thomas listened intently, his eyes lighting up with enthusiasm. That is an incredible idea. You have to tell Mr. Harrington. I'll be there to support you if you need me. Thank you, Thomas. That means a lot, Maria said, a flicker of hope igniting in her chest. As the day approached for her meeting with Mr. Harrington, Maria's anxiety began to mount. She envisioned every possible scenario, each more daunting than the last. What if he dismissed her? What if her dreams crumbled before her eyes? But deep down, she felt the resilience her mother had instilled in her. You are stronger than you know, Maria, she reminded herself, channeling her inner strength. Finally, the day came. Standing in front of Elysium Enterprises, she took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders. Dressed in a crisp blouse and slacks, she clutched her proposal tightly. The sun shone brightly, casting a golden glow around her as she made her way to Mr. Harrington's office. As she entered, Mr. Harrington looked up from his desk, his expression warm and welcoming. Maria, it is good to see you again. What brings you here today? Thank you for seeing me, Mr. Harrington, she began, her voice steadier than she felt. I've been working on a proposal for an outreach program aimed at empowering aspiring entrepreneurs from underrepresented communities. His eyes sparkled with interest. I remember our conversation. I am intrigued. Please share your vision. Maria took a deep breath, drawing strength from the memories of her struggles and dreams. As she spoke, her passion illuminated the room. She shared her vision of workshops, mentoring, and resources for those who felt overlooked. She painted vivid pictures of families transformed by the power of entrepreneurship. When she finished, the room fell silent. Mr. Harrington leaned back in his chair, his gaze thoughtful. This is a remarkable idea, Maria. You've clearly put a lot of heart into this. Thank you, she replied, her heart racing. I believe we can create a ripple effect, one that empowers not just individuals, but entire communities. He nodded, a smile breaking across his face. You have a unique perspective, rooted in your experiences. I would like to help you bring this to life. Maria's heart soared. You will? Absolutely. Let us set up a meeting with my team to discuss funding and logistics. We want to ensure everything is structured for maximum impact. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Maria dismissed it. Thank you, Mr. Harrington. You don't know how much this means to me, to all the people who need this. As she left his office, her heart felt lighter than it had in years. The dream she once thought was impossible was now becoming a reality. She felt a powerful resolve to turn her vision into something tangible, something that would help others like her. Days turned into weeks of preparation. Maria worked closely with Mr. Harrington's team, refining her proposal and establishing connections with local entrepreneurs willing to mentor participants. During one meeting, she was introduced to a vibrant woman named Clara, who built a successful bakery from the ground up. Clara radiated positivity, and Maria felt an instant connection. I love your energy, Maria, Clara exclaimed. I'd be honored to help mentor aspiring bakers through your program. I can't thank you enough, Maria replied, her heart swelling with appreciation. Your story is exactly what I want to share with others. The program began to take shape, and soon they hosted their first workshop at a local community center. The room buzzed with excitement as people from various backgrounds filled the seats. Maria stood at the front, her heart pounding with a mix of nerves and joy. Welcome, everyone. I am so grateful you're here. Today, we are going to explore the possibilities within us. Each of you has a unique dream, and together, we'll learn how to make those dreams a reality, she said, her voice echoing with conviction. Over the next few hours, participants shared their stories, dreams, and fears. The room was filled with laughter and tears as they connected over shared struggles. Maria felt a sense of purpose like never before, witnessing the power of collective resilience unfolding before her eyes. At the end of the workshop, people approached Maria, tears in their eyes. "Thank you for believing in us," one woman said, her voice shaky. "I didn't think I could ever start my own business, but you've given me hope." With every encounter, Maria felt the weight of her own struggles lifting as she became a catalyst for change. Her heart brimmed with hope, and she realized that through her journey, she was not just creating opportunities for others, she was rediscovering her own dreams along the way. Weeks turned into months, and the outreach program flourished. Maria's passion and dedication transformed lives, and soon, stories of success began to emerge. Participants who had once felt invisible were now stepping into their power, launching small businesses, and inspiring others in their communities. One evening, as she cleaned the executive floor after another successful workshop, Maria took a moment to reflect. She could hardly believe how far she had come since those early days of mopping floors in the shadows. As she looked out at the skyline of Riverton, she felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. She realized that while her circumstances had once defined her, it was her resilience, kindness, and unyielding spirit that had ultimately shaped her destiny. With every sweep of her mop, she felt not just like a janitor but an architect of hope. The journey was far from over, but Maria was ready to face whatever lay ahead. She knew now that every struggle had led her to this moment, and she was determined to continue shining a light for others, proving that even in the darkest places, hope could flourish. To be continued. ***, she was just a janitor until a wealthy investor made him a director. Part 3 ***. As dawn broke over Riverton, Maria stood in her small kitchen, the aroma of coffee mingling with the faint scent of her daughter's sketches drying on the table. The day marked the beginning of her first comprehensive workshop series for aspiring entrepreneurs. A mixture of anticipation and anxiety swelled within her. Her journey had been a winding path of dreams and struggles, and now she stood at a crossroads where everything could change. "Mom, you re-up early," Anna said, sleepily rubbing her eyes as she entered the kitchen. "Were you nervous about today?" "Just a little, Mija," Maria admitted, pouring 2 cups of coffee. "But I am ready. I believe in what we're redoing." Anna's eyes sparkled with pride. "You've worked so hard for this. I can't wait to hear how it goes." "Thank you, my Amor," Maria smiled, the warmth of her daughter as support filling her heart. "Remember, it is not just about the dreams we chase but the courage we muster along the way." They shared a moment of quiet before Anna spoke again. "And don't forget, you're not just a janitor anymore, you're a director now, Mom." Maria chuckled softly, her heart swelling with her daughter's words. "Yes, I suppose I am." As the sun climbed, illuminating the streets of Riverton, Maria made her way to the community center, her heart a wild drumbeat of excitement. Upon arrival, she spotted Clara, the bakery owner, setting up tables and arranging pamphlets with a bright smile. "Hey, Maria, you're going to do great today," Clara assured her, adjusting a sign that read, "Empower Yourself, Entrepreneur Workshop." "I hope so," Maria replied, her voice slightly tremulous. "What if they don't resonate with what we're offering?" Clara paused and looked directly into Maria's eyes. "You've already changed lives, Maria. Just remember that your story is powerful. Share it, and they will feel your passion." Maria nodded, the weight of Clara's words grounding her. As participants trickled in, she felt a surge of energy. The room began to fill with diverse faces, each marked with stories untold, dreams unfulfilled. "Welcome, everyone," Maria declared, her voice steadying as she stepped forward. "Thank you for being here today. Each of you has a unique story, and together, we will explore how to turn those stories into something tangible." As the workshop unfolded, participants shared their aspirations. A young man wanted to build a tech startup to help other students. A single mother dreamed of opening a cafe that served healthy meals. An elderly woman spoke of creating a craft business that could employ others. Maria listened, her heart overwhelmed with both empathy and joy. Halfway through, a man named Julian raised his hand, his brow furrowed. "Maria, what if I fail? What if no one believes in my idea?" "I once felt invisible too," she replied, her voice soft but firm. "I had to fight for my dreams and believe in them when no one else did. The fear of failure is part of the journey, but it doesn't define you. It is how you rise after a fall that shows your true spirit." The room fell silent, absorbing her words, and Maria felt the power of her own journey surge within her. This was not just about entrepreneurship, it was about igniting hope and resilience. After the workshop, participants crowded around Maria, sharing their gratitude and excitement. "Thank you for giving us hope," one young woman exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. "I never thought I could even think about starting a business." Days turned into weeks, and the workshop series took off, each session more impactful than the last. Maria felt invigorated, not just by the successes of her participants but by the community that was forming a tapestry of shared dreams and collective strength. However, as spring unfolded, so did new challenges. Maria began to notice some participants struggle with implementation, their dreams slipping away as fear and doubt clouded their minds. One evening, after a particularly challenging session, she sat in her small apartment, staring at the blank pages of her planner. "I can't let this happen," she whispered to herself, frustration bubbling up. It felt like the more they progressed, the more obstacles emerged. Just then, Anna entered the room, her expression worried. "Mom, what is wrong? You look stressed." "I am trying to help everyone, but I feel like I am failing them," Maria confessed, her voice tremulous. "I want to empower them, but the fear is too strong. I don't know what to do." Anna approached and took her mother's hands. "You've faced so much, Mom. You've shown them how to rise. Maybe it is time for you to share more of your story, the hard parts too." Maria looked into her daughter's eyes, realizing the truth in her words. "You're right. I can just show them the success. I need them to see the struggles." The next workshop was different. As Maria stood before the group, she felt the weight of her journey settle into her bones. "Today, I want to share my story, the parts that aren't easy to talk about," she began, her voice soft but unwavering. She shared the hardships of her early days, the pain of leaving her family back in Mexico, the fear of failure that had haunted her for years, and the sacrifices she had made for Anna. "There were nights I cried in silence, thinking I'd never achieve my dreams, but I learned that the trials we face can build our strength. We're in this together." As she spoke, a collective understanding filled the room. Tears were shed, heads nodded, and walls of doubt began to crumble. Participants shared their insecurities, and Maria listened intently, her heart swelling with compassion. After that session, a palpable shift occurred. Participants began to open up about their fears and failures, and together they brainstormed solutions. They became a support system, leaning on each other and celebrating small victories. One evening, amid the laughter and encouragement, Julian stood up. "Maria, thank you for sharing your story. It made me realize that we can all struggle and still rise. I am ready to start my tech business." The room erupted in applause, and Maria felt a tear slide down her cheek, overwhelmed by the resilience blooming around her. Weeks turned into months, and Maria's outreach program gained traction. Participants began launching their businesses, and their successes inspired even more people in the community. Clara's bakery became a local favorite, Julian secured funding for his startup, and the single mother opened her cafe, bringing healthy meals to the neighborhood. One crisp autumn evening, Maria received an email from Mr. Harrington. He wanted to celebrate the program's success and invited her to speak at the Elysium Enterprises annual gala. Trembling with excitement, she read the words again. "Mom, you were going to speak at a gala?" Anna exclaimed, her face aglow with pride. "I am," Maria said, her voice barely contained. "But I need to inspire others like me. It is more than just a speech, it is showcasing the power of resilience." As the night of the gala approached, Maria immersed herself in preparing her speech. She envisioned standing in front of the polished executives, sharing the journey that had shaped her existence. Finally, the night arrived. Maria stood backstage, her heart racing as she watched the crowd mingle, their elegant attire contrasting sharply with her humble roots. "Remember, Maria, just be yourself. You have a story to tell," Mr. Harrington encouraged, a reassuring smile gracing his lips. Taking a deep breath, Maria stepped onto the stage, the spotlight illuminating her face. As she began to speak, the audience fell silent, captivated by her authenticity. "I stand before you not as a director, but as a woman who has fought through shadows," she began. "My story is woven through struggles and triumphs. I was once just a janitor, but I learned that every role has its purpose and potential." She spoke of the dreams that once felt unreachable and the community she now cherished. "Through my outreach program, we've empowered over 100 people, and together, we're recreating futures filled with hope." As she shared the stories of her participants, tears glistened in the eyes of those in attendance. Her words transcended the barriers of wealth and status. When she finished, the applause echoed like a symphony, and Maria felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. But more importantly, she saw the spark of inspiration igniting in the crowd, the same spark she had once felt herself. Later, as she mingled with attendees, Maria was approached by a woman with tears in her eyes. "You've inspired me to pursue my dreams. Thank you for your courage." In that moment, Maria realized that hope was not a solitary journey, it was a collective force fueled by shared experiences. As the night wore on, joy enveloped her, and she felt lighter than she had in years. Driving home that night, she reflected on the winding road that had brought her here. From mopping floors to sharing her story on a grand stage, she realized that resilience wasn't just about overcoming, it was about lifting others along the way. And with that understanding, she knew her story was just beginning. She had the power to continue shaping lives, proving that the beauty of the human spirit can shine brightly even amidst the shadows. To be continued. ****. She was just a janitor until a wealthy investor made him a director. Part 4 ****. The air was crisp and fragrant with the scents of autumn as Maria walked through the vibrant streets of Riverton. Leaves danced around her, a whirl of gold and crimson. After the gala, her life had taken on a new rhythm, one filled with purpose and promise. Yet, amidst the burgeoning excitement, she felt the familiar whisper of insecurity creeping back in. "Mom, you're a star now." Anna teased, sliding into step beside her. "You know, with your public speaking debut and everything, you should be used to the spotlight." Maria chuckled, though the pinch of anxiety flooded in her stomach. "Anna, it feels like a dream. I just hope I can keep inspiring others." "You will," Anna said confidently. "You've ignited something in people. I see it in their eyes when they talk about their plans. You've given them hope, Mom." Maria smiled but knew that hope was a fragile thing, and she worried about what would happen if she faltered. "I just want to make sure I stay humble and grounded. I can't lose sight of where I came from." As they strolled past the community center, Anna paused, her gaze fixed on a poster announcing the next workshop. "Look, Mom, they're still talking about you. Your story has inspired so many." A knot of warmth filled Maria's heart. "That is the goal, Mija. I want to create a ripple effect, but sometimes I wonder if I am really making a difference." "Of course you are. Just yesterday, I spoke to Mrs. Thompson at the cafe. She said you helped her find the courage to start her jewelry business." Anna replied, her eyes gleaming with pride. "You're a beacon of hope." That evening, as Maria prepared for her next workshop, she felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. The previous sessions had been transformative, and the community was buzzing with anticipation. Yet the weight of expectations pressed hard on her shoulders. "Remember, it is not just about the business, it is about connection," she told herself, staring at the mirror in her modest apartment. "Inspiration comes from sharing our truths." When she arrived at the community center, the atmosphere was electric. Participants gathered, chatting eagerly, their faces illuminated with hope. Clara was there too, arranging the chairs with her characteristic enthusiasm. "Maria, you look fabulous!" Clara exclaimed, her infectious energy lifting Maria's spirits. "I can't wait for tonight's workshop. We're ready to dive deep." "Thank you, Clara. I am just a bit nervous," Maria admitted, glancing at the growing crowd. "I want to give them something meaningful." "You already have," Clara reassured her. "Just be yourself. They're here because they believe in you." As the workshop commenced, Maria welcomed everyone with a warm smile. "Tonight, I want to focus on overcoming fears. Each of you has a story, and together, we can learn to embrace our challenges and rise above them." A young woman named Lisa raised her hand, her voice trembling. "But what if I am not good enough? I've tried so many times, and I just keep failing." Maria's heart went out to her. "I understand, Lisa. I've faced my share of failures too. There was a time when I doubted my own dreams, but every setback is a stepping stone, a lesson that leads us forward." "Can you share one of your failures?" Lisa asked, her eyes shining with curiosity. Maria thought for a moment, her mind drifting back to nights spent cleaning offices, feeling invisible. "I once lost a job I loved because I didn't believe in myself. I let fear dictate my choices, but that loss taught me resilience that became the fuel for my passion." As Maria spoke, she saw a shift in the room. Participants shared their stories, their vulnerabilities weaving a tapestry of connection. Lisa revealed her struggles with self-doubt, while Julian confessed his fears about failing his family. "Failure isn't the end, it is a part of our journey," Maria assured them. "What matters is how we rise from those moments. Each time we fall, we gather knowledge, strength, and passion to continue." The workshop turned into a healing space, laughter mingling with tears as everyone shared stories of struggle and triumph. Maria felt a sense of community swell around her, a vibrant energy that nourished her soul. Afterward, as participants mingled and exchanged contact information, Maria noticed Lisa standing alone. She pushed her, concern etched on her face. Hey, Lisa, how are you feeling after everything? Lisa took a deep breath, her eyes glistening. I feel lighter. It's hard to believe that I am not alone in this. Thank you for sharing your story. Remember, it is okay to feel scared. What is important is to keep moving forward, Maria encouraged. You have what it takes. Over the following weeks, Maria's outreach program continued to grow, transforming lives in ways she never imagined. But with success came new challenges. Some participants struggled with practical aspects of their businesses, and Maria found herself stretched thin, balancing mentoring with her own responsibilities. One evening, after a particularly draining day, she sat at her kitchen table, her head resting in her hands. What if I can't help them anymore? She whispered to herself. The weight of the world felt heavy upon her. Just then, Anna walked in. Mom, you look exhausted. You need to take a break. I can tea, Anna. I feel responsible for everyone. I want to do more, but I don't know how, Maria confessed, fighting back tears. Anna took a seat beside her, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. It is okay to ask for help. You don't have to do it all on your own. You've created a support system. Lean on them. Maria looked at her daughter, realizing how true those words were. You're right. I need to trust that they can support each other too. That week, Maria decided to implement peer-led sessions in the outreach program. She gathered participants and encouraged them to share their insights, creating a nurturing environment where everyone could learn from one another. Tonight is about collaboration, Maria announced at the next workshop, her heart brimming with hope. You all have unique experiences and knowledge to share. Let us lift each other up. As participants began to lead discussions, Maria felt a wave of relief wash over her. Lisa facilitated a session on overcoming self-doubt, while Julian shared his tech expertise. The room buzzed with energy, transforming into a melting pot of ideas and encouragement. Maria stepped back, watching the magic unfold. Their connections deepened, and she realized that she didn't have to carry the burden alone. She had built a community of resilience, a circle of support that thrived on shared experiences. One Friday evening, as Maria finished cleaning up after a particularly inspiring session, Julian approached her. Maria, I've been thinking, what if we create an online platform for our community? A place where we can share resources, ideas, and support each other beyond these workshops. Her heart raced at the idea. That's brilliant, Julian. It could expand our reach and empower even more people. Together, they brainstormed, and within weeks the platform flourished. Participants began sharing success stories, resources, and even mentoring one another. It became a sacred space where dreams turned into realities, and the ripple effect of hope grew wider. One day, Maria received a message from Mr. Harrington inviting her to discuss a potential partnership. He had heard about the success of her outreach program and wanted to explore opportunities for further collaboration. Excitement fluttered in her chest as she prepared for their meeting. Mom, this is incredible, Anna exclaimed, beaming with pride. You've worked so hard for this. I just hope I can convey the impact we've made, Maria said, her hands trembling slightly. On the day of the meeting, Maria walked into Elysian Enterprises, her heart racing. Mr. Harrington greeted her warmly. Maria, it is great to see you again. I've been following your progress, and I am truly impressed. Your program is making waves. Thank you, Mr. Harrington. I've seen so many lives change, and it has been a collective effort, Maria replied, gathering her thoughts. I believe we could expand this initiative, he suggested. Imagine creating a scholarship fund for aspiring entrepreneurs or even an incubator program to support these small businesses. Maria's heart soared at the possibilities. That would be amazing. It would allow us to reach even more people and foster lasting change in the community. They discussed ideas, strategies, and potential funding, and by the end of the meeting, Maria felt a renewed sense of purpose. This was a chance not just for her but for everyone she had been fighting for. As she left the building, a sense of exhilaration surged through her. This is just the beginning, she whispered to herself, feeling the weight of her journey now transformed into a driving force for change. Weeks turned into months, and the outreach program expanded beyond her wildest dreams. The scholarship fund was established, and Maria felt a sense of fulfillment as she watched participants pursue their dreams with renewed vigor. One evening, as she sat on her porch, reflecting on her journey, Anna joined her, holding a steaming mug of cocoa. What is on your mind, Mom? I was just thinking about how far we've come, Maria smiled,